Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host TC, and today I will be reviewing the new Arbor metal machine, Mike Liddle's Pro model. This board is equipped with just a straight up camber profile to it, so tip to tail, you're gonna have traditional camber in there, so all that edge hold, that pop, all that riding switch, it's gonna be the exact same. This board comes in a 150, a 153, and a 156, so sorry big guys, you're out of luck. I rode this board at Copper Mountain where it was a beautiful sunny day, slight breeze, really good groomers with a few chunder push piles out there, but there really wasn't anything that you had to keep your head on a swivel for. I used my Jones Mercury bindings and my Ride Fuse boots. This board has a very fluid flex throughout, so you're looking at a little bit stiffer than the middle of the road, I would say. After riding it for a while, it'll probably break in, but right out of the wrapper, it is gonna be on the stiffer side. It does feel very fluid from tip to tail, where you don't notice any difference there. When you're going to foot steer it, you do have to put a little bit effort into it, but it does feel a little bit softer than the overall flex of the board. When you're talking stability, it really caught me off guard here. I didn't expect for a park board for it to carve that hard and be this damp. I didn't feel any like groomer or icy spots or anything like that, where those micro vibrations don't come through the ash top sheet or anything like that. It pushed right through the push piles. Although they were minimal, it did handle them quite well. This board ollies extremely well. You have great edge hold when taking off and landing, and it has a great snap through the tail when you're loading it up. You don't have to load it up like a day in advance or anything like that. You see a slow sign right there, bam, ollie that thing. It really is extremely fun. Switch ollies on it, feel the exact same, so there's no biggie there. When you're taking it off of jumps, feel free to go as fast as you want, pop as big as you want. I felt like I could even go bigger each time I hit a jump on this thing, just because that's how stable it felt. When you're going up to the lip or even just landing off it, that edge hold is there. That contact point really grips on the lip of the jump, so when you pop and spin, you're not washing out or anything like that. You can really trust it. Same with when you're landing, it just pretty much cuts through that landing, sets that edge, and you're good to go. Make sure you subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any new videos we have coming out. When you're buttering this board, you are gonna have to shift your weight to the tail and to the nose on it, where honestly, at first, it kind of fought me. I had to really find that sweet spot. Once I did, I figured out the sweet spot is right at that contact points on both the tail and the nose. So once you find it, it will hold pretty well for you. What you do need to realize though is with all that camber in there, it's all loaded up, so it wants to snap you out of that butter. When you do that, just hold on. You're gonna have a really good pop. It makes it really easy to spin out of butters if that's what you're looking to do. When it comes to jibbing this board, the same is pretty much to be said for tail presses or nose presses on rails or ledges. It takes a little bit to find it, and honestly that kind of surprised me because Mike is predominantly a rail rider in the Midwest, so I thought it would be a little bit softer than it was on the rails. Turns out it grips when you're sliding really well, but it takes a little bit more to find that sweet spot on the tail and the nose. But when you're sliding it sideways, that full camber zone really makes it so wherever you land, that's where it wants to hold. I didn't feel like it was super clanky or anything like that. When it landed on the rail, it cradled it and it didn't just spring me right off. If you do happen to lock in that tail press, just be aware when you're exiting the rail, it's gonna wanna snap you off, so you do have a little extra time to spin. This board carves extremely well for being a park board, I would say, where normally on that true twin, you're not able to hold an edge quite like you are on a directional with taper, all that jazz. This thing rips a carve. Like those short, quick carves when you're approaching rails or just trying to avoid that fat skier in the way, it will handle it and then some. When you're on the medium carves, even in less than ideal conditions, it still holds extremely well. It honestly didn't skip over the push piles, it kept its edge through the push piles and just kind of motored along. The only problem I had was on the long drawn out carves. I caught a little bit of my heel side, but it didn't lose its edge. It just kind of bucked me a little bit, kept the edge, kept riding along. So just be aware if your boot's a little bit bigger. Other than that, it handled every carve extremely well. I had a blast on it. The Euro carves, feel free to just put those nips to the ground and have a good time. Rider in mind, Mike Liddle. Nah, just kidding. Really, that advanced park rider is gonna love this board. Probably say take it to like that big jump line, that bigger rail feature line. It's gonna handle it. It'll step to anything you want it to. If you want to support us further, head on over to our Patreon at Angry Snowboarder VIP. Sure, I could explain it here, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. I actually love this board. This is my ideal park board where it's got a little bit more beef to it. So if you do land a little back seat on it, it'll still hold an edge for you. It'll still put down that landing gear for you, but it fucking rips, honestly. I really enjoyed this board where even carving it down the groomers, it was really fun. It was pretty much turned the whole mountain into a park for me. Side hits, whatever, it just felt all so natural on this board. Comparable boards, the R.I.P Benchwarmer, the Capita Super DOA, and the K2 Hypnotist. Recommended bindings, the Arbor Hemlock, the Jones Mercury, and the Union Force. Congrats, Mike, on an absolute ripping pro model. If you guys did like this review, make sure you go check out the videos for the comparable boards we have.